And welcome back, everyone. this lovely setup here. Hold on, this cushion has a problem of going down too easily. There we go. That's a little bit more professional, right? A little professional on my laid-back vacation. I still got 3 days of vacation left, and I'm gonna enjoy every bit of it. And Domino's, this little white here's Domino, just sleeping on the couch. But this is a topic I brought up a while back, and people seem very interested in my take on it, particularly because I keep bringing shit up during my what-ifs about it. So, personally, my top 10 dumbest moments in Naruto. Now, what do I describe as a dumbest moment? How far am I going? Because Naruto is a big effing series, we are only going to look at part 1 of Naruto first. Maybe I'll do a Shippuden one later if this video gets... If this video gets to 150 views, I'm not greedy. For me, 150 views is, honestly, for me, if one of my videos ever gets over like 50 views, I'm happy. I actually recently went through and deleted a couple videos that only had like 3, like single-digit views, because I'm like, and they're all like reviews I did in the past, so I'm like, no one's gonna care if I get rid of these. Make some room on the platform. But if a video honestly hits like double digits in like 50 or above, I'm happy. And usually, my videos can hit about 100 some odd views, so I'm happy. But that's my goal. 150 views, I'll do the part 2 Shippuden dumbest list. That one's going to be pretty interesting. But what do I determine as dumb? It's a decision that is made in universe, obviously, that mutually did not benefit anyone, and actually could have led to more problems. And this could be for the overall story, or this could be for the individual story. So the way some of these are going to be ranked is kind of determined by that. So why don't we just get started with the number 10 spot? The number 10 spot is Might Guy teaching Rock Lee the 5th gates and letting him use the 5th gate in his fight against Rock and Gaara. Now, why is this A on the list and B only number 10? It's only number 10 because ultimately it proves to be beneficial down the road as Lee is able to recover. But, and this is a testament to the fact how this is a dumb decision. Guy even realized his mistake after the fact. That he saw so much of him in Lee, he didn't think about Lee's safety. That Lee bringing this out to fight Gaara, great. It put him on par with Gaara, but Gaara still, it almost gave him a win over Gaara, but Gaara's saying was too much. And ultimately, this destroyed his body. If it wasn't for Tsunade, and even then it was a 50-50 freaking shot, Rock Lee would be Might Guy right now in Boruto. He would not be able to fight at all. His career as a ninja would be over. And that would be entirely Might Guy's fault for teaching him that technique and letting him use it as recklessly as he did. This wasn't a life or death scenario. This wasn't a save the day. To protect one's own ninja way is not an excuse for destroying your body and risking your ninja career. So, and honestly, losing your ninja career if it wasn't for fucking plot. So, yeah, and Guy, again, realized after the fact where Lee was standing up unconscious on his feet, Guy realized, he apologized, and he realized he effed up. And, so yeah, number 10 goes to Guy teaching Lee the gates. The reason this ranks only number 10 is that because Rock Lee did ultimately recover from this, and it strengthened him down the road, where he's now the foremost taijutsu user, can easily use the 6th gate with no problem. It's theorized he can use the 8th gate, all the gates up to the 8th. So, yeah, this was one that was a stupid decision in part 1, but paid off in part 2. Coming in at number 9 is Orochimaru thinking he can fight Jiraiya and Tsunade without the use of his arms. This is only number 9 because Orochimaru is so tough that he could, to a degree, do it. But the only reason he fared as well as he freaking is because Tsunade was freaking out over the blood until she wasn't. And then Jiraiya was freaking nerfed to only a third of his chakra levels. If Jiraiya was at full speed. Tsunade had recovered much earlier over a fear of blood. Orochimaru was effed. Yet this is Orochimaru's ego getting in the way of things, thinking he honestly could fight them on par. By the way, that's an animation error. You can see right there. You got one purple hand, which makes sense. And oh no, it's not an animation error because his hands are bandaged. One hand is unbandaged. The other, okay, never mind. That's not an animation error. Unless they, I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched that fight, but I think one of his hands is fine. Well, I mean, unbandaged, and therefore it's not a. Granted, this is still pretty like, maybe not the best animation, but this is them from a distance, so you can be at least a little forgiving. Regardless, look, Orochimaru is still one of the strongest individuals. He might arguably one of the strong. He might be one of the, if not the strongest shinobi in Shippuden right now. Actually, when you actually think on it, Naruto is currently MIA. Sasuke has lost his Rin Sharingan and one of his his Rinnegan and one of his eyes, so he's down a Mangekyo. So there's an argument, and Orochimaru has actually only gotten stronger in Boruto. So Orochimaru might be the strongest shinobi in Boruto right now, maybe. But look, it doesn't matter how strong he is. He couldn't really do most of his jutsu without the use of his hands. He had to use Kabuto to summon Manda. Yeah, he could use his striking shadow snake technique, or I don't know what it's called. The one where he elongates his hand, he uses the fangs. He could use that on his own, but otherwise he could cough up his sword. So yeah, he was still very dangerous. But if he honestly believed he could beat these two, even nerfed, he was. That's not just egotistical. That's freaking stupid. And he proved it when he got his ass handed to him by Tsunade. He nearly got killed. If it wasn't for the fact that Tsunade was running on empty and Jiraiya was just completely nerfed, he probably would have gotten killed. Or at the very least, even worse off. So, number 9, ultimately, this only ranks as number 8 because this is a very intelligent character making a very dumb decision. And again, he ultimately survived it. So, and he kind of proved he could to a degree go toe-to-toe, but only with like nerfed versions of them. So, that is number 9. Number 8, not telling Naruto the truth about everything. And this is the best kind of image I could find for this. About his parentage, about the nine-tailed fox. I believe the argument is they wanted Naruto to have a normal childhood, but it should have been apparent from the beginning when the village was shunning and ignoring and possibly allegedly beating. There's no actual evidence, but a lot of fanfics throw that in. And we've seen that in some other villages there is evidence for that. Particularly with like Killer Bee. I don't think he was beaten, but he was assaulted occasionally. Like had people throwing stuff at him. Why would his normal childhood, that whole hope he had, gone? Now this is in part due to Danzo spreading the rumors and stuff like that. So understandable to some degree, but not telling Naruto the truth. What was there to gain by? Because now he has to discover he has the nine-tailed fox from a guy trying to kill him, and he nearly loses his way until Garuka says he trusts Naruto, looks at him like a brother. He didn't get to know his parents until they were long dead, and the village was nearly destroyed, and he nearly lost to the Nine-Tails when he was trying to tame the damn thing. Yeah, I get that his father, and again, this is something fanfic tries to fill in, that his father was, the fourth Hokage, so him knowing his parentage was dangerous somehow, like he wouldn't be able to hold his tongue, and that maybe it would make him a target. But the fact is, no one really tried to kidnap him at all. There was alleged in the anime, not the manga. Keep that in mind. Maybe it was filled in maybe one of the Resident novels, the light novels, but only in the anime did we see that the plan was to use the nine-tailed fox to attack the village. But that's that. As far as we know in the anime, correct me if I'm wrong in the manga, by the way, but in the manga that wasn't the case. And even so, that they were going to do it anyway. So them knowing that he was the child of the fourth wouldn't matter at all. Yeah, Fugaku lost out to the fourth Hokage position to the fourth, but that still shouldn't make him any more that much angry. As far as we know, he didn't resent Minato. He just resented the way the way their clan was treated. And then, so yeah, you combine. And then, what was the harm in him knowing who Kushina was? Seriously, at least his mom. Like, I chalked this up to the third being reinstated and being too tired for this shit. Not really thinking what would be best, thinking what might be best for Naruto, and not really understanding what would be best for Naruto. There's ultimately no reason for any of this. Now, the reason this posts number 8, is simply because ultimately Naruto grew up fine, he was able to make friends and all that. So it luckily didn't have any real long-lasting effects in a negative way. That doesn't mean it was a smart thing to do. So at number 8, we got not telling Naruto the truth. Coming in at number 7, we have leaving Naruto alone. Now again, this ranks a little higher because even if you're not telling Naruto the truth, not giving him some sort of adoption is so freaking stupid. He gave him like an allowance to live on in an apartment, but he was alone. He had no friends whatsoever. Find, I don't know, someone, doesn't even have to be a clan, who would just adopt knowing about Naruto. They would have to know, because if they found out, that could go bad, especially the way the villagers viewed him ultimately. Hell, Ichiraku loved him. Let them adopt him. But leaving him alone, look at that kid. That is a sad, miserable kid right there, a lonely kid. And if it wasn't for the fact that, as he put it, when he talked to Guy, he found people who saved him from his loneliness, he could have very easily turned out like Gaara. And that would have been on everyone's fault. Danzo included, Sarutobi included, everyone's fault. Luckily, again, this only ranks number 7 on the list because it's I think even worse than not telling him the truth, because you could maybe hide that. It's important. It is high valued information that they hid from him. But the fact that he was a kid with no parental figures whatsoever, no family, just wasn't a smart thing to do. But again, just like with number 8, it ultimately turned out fine. So it's really no harm, no foul here. Coming in at number 6, now we're getting to some of the meatier ones. The Sand making a deal with Orochimaru. The Sand, apparently, as far as I remember, it had to come from the Sand feeling marginalized in the whole scheme. So what do? Not invade one of their enemies. No. They invade their only ally. Yeah, as far as I remember, the Leaf is the Sand's only ally. So you're going to say, oh yeah, the Leaf, they've been taking us for granted. Let's just invade our one ally. Instead of, I don't know, invade the Mist, invade the Stone or the invade the Stone or the Lightning, the Cloud Village, and whether we have an ally, so maybe we could get an agreement with it. Plus, we got the Sound Shinobi, and we got Orochimaru. Now, granted, the Konoha probably wouldn't agree to that, but they still had Orochimaru and all that, so the Mist probably would have been the best of the three to go against, because an Inoki would not have been smart to go up against. Yagura, I think, was still in power at that time and under Obito's control. So they actually might, but they were probably actually weaker at that point than other villages. So, yeah, and look, what did it get you? It lessened your already small force, because they are, I believe, statistically the smallest ninja village. So it weakened your already small force, lost you your Kazekage, who admittedly isn't that good of a Kazekage. And you soured your relationship with the Leaf for a while. See, this is where we're escalating, because now we're talking about the politics of the Naruto world, not just one village. And this was a really dumb idea. So, yeah, number 6, we have the Sand partnering with Orochimaru and invading the Leaf. Coming in number 5, we have Sasuke not killing Naruto at the Valley of the End of their first fight. For whatever reason, Sasuke just couldn't bring himself to kill Naruto. And look, it ultimately worked out for everyone, which is again why I only placed at number 5. But if we're talking specifically about what Sasuke wanted, his journey, what he was trying to go for, you really needed to kill Naruto. Because if you didn't, he was going to come back. And guess what? He did, and you ultimately lost your arm. And still didn't get a new arm. Like, you still didn't go for it, which I don't, whatever. Because you're still insanely overpowered, even with just one arm. But regardless, you still, and what would you have gained from killing Naruto? Oh, I don't know, a freaking Mangekyo Sharingan right from the gate with the drugs you probably took because of Orochimaru, you were already over. You would probably have a better time with that Mangekyo. You probably wouldn't overuse it, knowing it would be straining your eyes. But regardless, you would have gained a lot. You ultimately would have killed Orochimaru a lot easier, killed Itachi a lot easier, taken his eyes, gotten your Eternal right from the get. And yeah, now the fox would reform at some point, and they would probably try to capture it and seal it, which would cause a whole other kettle of fish. But maybe this could lead you into becoming the jinchuriki of the goddamn Nine Tails. I don't know. I'm spitballing at this point. The point is, if you're Sasuke at this point in the story, you kill Naruto. So I'm gonna say Sasuke not killing Naruto was a dumb decision. Now, again, it ultimately worked out, but that was a very dumb decision on his part based on the story. Now we're getting into like the big political ones. Coming in number 4, we have the Mist Village Purge. Now, for whatever reason, they thought that it was important to get rid of all bloodline users because their Kekkei Genkais tainted the blood of the mist or something. They were considered like abominations. This is why Haku was like the last of the Yukis. As far as we know, he was the last. This is why Kimimaro was the last of his clan. His clan ended up killing each other. This is why you don't see really any Kekkei Genkai in the mist, save for Maze, Haku no longer. Think of it this way: if the Purge didn't exist, and we still had the Kekkei Genkais in the village, you'd have what? You'd have the Dead Bone Pulse Kekkei Genkai, if it could actually be, procreated. Which, in theory, it should. Like, it was a rare even among their clan, but in theory, it should be able to keep going. If they were able to sate, like, the bloodlust of that clan. You'd have Mei's clans at Kekkei Genkai and full force, and you'd have ice users. You'd have 3 powerful-ass Kekkei Genkais. 4, technically. Mei has 2, which is weird. But nonetheless impressive. So, and technically speaking, that liquefaction is not a Kekkei Genkai. It's just a clan technique. Kind of like a Shadow Possession or like the expansion jutsu. But if you want to get technical and say that is a Kekkei Genkai, then yeah, that's 4 overly powerful Kekkei Genkais. So you see your village. You got your 7 swordsmen, great. You got your Mizukage, great. You got a Jinchuriki Mizukage, even better. Why do you think you need to get rid of bloodline users? And why do you think getting rid of them makes you stronger? That is ass backwards thinking. Look, there's our fighting percent right now. This is where we are right now. So let's do that, and we're stronger now, right? Right? Well, we're just going to compensate by training more shinobi. Yeah, except you also got that little graduation exam where you kill your classmates. So not only are you killing your classmates, further, a future shinobi that could be beneficial to your not only are you killing Kekkei Genkai users, but you're also killing future ninjas and gentlemen who don't have Kekkei Genkais. So your entire village's it changed afterwards, but your entire village's practices are specifically designed to implode your status, your infrastructure. So this is one of the. I'm now arguing in my head whether or not this should be higher. Because when you really break it down, this was such a stupid way of running your people that you should have been impeached, assassinated, whatever. Granted, Zabza apparently attempted it and he failed. But regardless, that was just dumb. Dumb. So number 3, we have the Cloud's attempted kidnapping of Hinata. These next 2 are international incidents. These could spark wars. These are as bad as they are. And the Cloud attempting to steal a Hyuga. to get more bloodlines in their village. Now, it's still up in the air whether or not the Raikage, I believe it was Raikage at the time, knew about it, or if this was a rogue ninja who decided to go about doing this. Hold on, 1 sec. I'm actually going to look into that real quick because I just want the confirmation. Either way, this is still ranking at number 3. Cloud kidnapping, hold on, kidnapping. Not saying cloud kidnapping Hinata. 1 second here. Hinata. All right. Okay, here. So the Hyuga affair, as it's called. Shinobi was killed in an okay, so let's see here. An incident nowadays in the Cloud happened 9 years prior to start of the series. While they were at war, it was an attempt to put an end to the fighting. They agreed the peace treaty to sign on the date that was coincided by the Hyuga's 3rd birthday. She was soon revealed to be nothing more than a cover when the person who was head of Konoha ninja, who was the head ninja of the Cloud at the time. Stupid ads. God, these ads. South Park is right. Punch an ad in the face. But now I lost my place. Who was the head of the Cloud at the time? Seriously? Who was in there, attempted to kidnap Hinata in order to obtain the Byakugan and its secrets. I mean, the head ninja of... Wouldn't the head ninja be the Raikage? He was the head ninja. What the hell does a head ninja mean? Head ninja at the time, he was sent... That's not a Raikage. The head ninja is the Raikage. What the hell? I don't know. Anyway, so basically the person they sent, he was a very important ninja. So yes, this was all a ruse by the Land of Lightning. This was one of the dumbest things you could have possibly done. You are lucky you're lucky your city is still breathing, because at the time the 3rd Hokage was the Hokage. And even though he was a lot older, he most likely still would have bitch smacked the Raikage around and bitch smacked a giant chunk of that village around. Not to mention you still had the Uchiha. It was before the Shiya massacre. You had the Hyuga, the Nara, the Yamanaka, the Nara, and the Aburame, the Inuzuka, all very powerful clans. Who do you got? Some storm release users, which is a very powerful Kekkei Genkai. I love the storm release. It's actually creating lasers is really cool. Anyone else? I didn't think so. So because you're at a time of war, tensions are high. You say, let's do a peace treaty, and then steal the little Hyuga girl because we want your Kekkei Genkai. And then you had the balls to issue. It's like, oh no, you killed him in a piece, and all that. And unfortunately, because they couldn't really prove after the fact that he had done it, it did fly that they wanted the Hyuga's head. And so Hiyashi offered, Neji's dad went instead, so forth, so on. But this could have led to the end of the Cloud. This was such a bad thing. This was a really bad thing to do. So, yeah, that is number 3. Number 2 is one that I have affectionately brought up multiple times. Kankuro, you dumb shit. Kankuro threatening to assault the grandson of the 3rd Hokage. Now, you can make the argument, well, he didn't know it was the 3rd Hokage, or grandson. That doesn't make it worse, but it doesn't make it better. Let's put this in the context real quick. You're going to assault the grandson of the 3rd Hokage in a village that you are a guest in. First off, how many brain cells do you have in your head at the time? But second off, let's assume you didn't know who this kid was, which you didn't. You're still assaulting the grandson of the Hokage, which means you're going to be called in for the Yambu. You may be in some serious shit with you're going to be in some serious shit with your village, let alone maybe serving some time in the Konoha jail cell. But let's assume for a second you did know. Kankuro didn't, but let's hypothetically say in this scenario he did know. That's intent to harm the grandson of the Hokage. a harm of the resident of a leaf village of the village you're visiting. Are you psychotic? How much of an idiot was Kankuro at the time? It baffles me how stupid this really of a move was. Even if this has just been a normal citizen, this makes your village look so terrible. Gaara is flat out right that he was an embarrassment to the Sand for trying to pull something like that just because the kid bumped into him. I cannot iterate enough. I've gone on about this so many times, but now I can finally kind of rant about it because it's the topic of the video. I literally cannot tell you enough how monumentally stupid Kankuro is in this scene. He thinks he's being cool and tough, yet not realizing, oh yeah, I have no grounds to stand on in this village. They could kill me on sight if they wanted to. As if I go out of line, like seriously, theoretically, an Anbu should actually be watching Konoha nonstop around the clock because he is technically, I mean, he's not royalty, but he's the grandson of the Hokage. So he should actually have some level of round the clock protection, at least an Anbu looking from the distance. So that's on the third for not having that because this wouldn't have happened. And the Anbu, and then I actually wish an Anbu was there because then Kankuro would be like, you are dare to assault the grandson of the Lord Hokage. It's like, what? Oh, I didn't know. So you were just assaulting a random citizen in a village that you are not from. The Tamari and Gaara probably be like, look, I apologize for my brother, please. He's an idiot. He didn't mean it. He was trying to be macho. Hey, and it's like, shut up if you don't want to wind up in jail. Or worse. So, yeah, this, and again, you could have caused an international incident with this. You could have literally had the Sand village look at the Sand like, you came in and assaulted not just a child, but the child related to the Hokage. Are you fucking mental? This could be an act of freaking war. Like you just walk into people's villages and assault their people, just because, and you think you own your place. Like this could have been as bad as the Cloud Ninja thing, if it had escalated to the point it was going to. So yeah, but that is not our number one dumbest Naruto moment in part one. No. And this goes to, now we're on, so we've covered personal dumbass moments. We've covered interpersonal dumbass moments. We've covered political dumbass moments. No. Now we're talking about cultural dumbass in the entirety of Naruto. The shunning of jinchuriki. The hatred of jinchuriki. The possible alleged, actually we know for a fact that Gaara, who is a jinchuriki, was assaulted. Or at least attempted assaulted. So we do know assaults did happen on jinchuriki. The attempted assaults, murders, the abuse, the horrible outlook towards jinchuriki. So first and foremost, let me just say, I understand people are primal creatures. We are somewhat motivated by fear and the things that we don't understand, especially non-ninjas in this world. But if you know someone holds a beast of pure chakra in them, ranging from 1 tail to 9 tails, ranging even the weakest one could destroy an entire village, no problem. Some are more, and you believe these are unstable monsters inside them, and hypothetically you believe these to be the monsters themselves. Why the hell would you go and treat them like dirt? This is where I don't get Danzo's plan. Hypothetically, we saw what happened with Gaara, and Gaara barely managed to keep hold of his sanity and not kill everyone in the village. Are you fucking mental to be attacking walking nuclear bombs, basically, and saying, fuck you, screw you, I'll throw stuff at them, abuse them, hate them, and think it's okay to treat them that way, and think they're just gonna sit there and take it all day, every day? Eventually, something's gonna break, and you're lucky that Gaara only partially broke. Otherwise, Hell, Gar didn't even partially break. Gar broke several occasions, and his dad had to put him in check with his gold dust. If it wasn't for his dad, the village would have been effed. You look at Killer B, it's a good thing Killer B had an upbeat attitude, because otherwise, you're all screwed. It's a good thing that you are so freaking lucky that Naruto never lost his will to go on. Like Danzo egging the people on secretly to hate him was one of the dumbest decisions Danzo honestly could have done. Maybe I think he wanted him for himself, Naruto, but ultimately it does not work that way, because you would still risk Naruto going crazy, and except for maybe Yamato, there's no one in the village at that point who could probably beat the Nine Tails, save maybe the third, because he still knows the Reaper Death Seal. And even that, but he doesn't know the Jutsu to seal the fox after that. So, at best, no, there's no one there who could actually beat the Nine Tails. So, if the Nine Tails went loose, except for the Uchiha who could maybe tame it, and that's assuming he didn't just destroy half all the Uchiha to begin with, just Tail Beast Bomb and get out of there. And that is one. Let's look at Yagura. It was an exception. He was an Hokage, so that's an exception. We know Yukato also didn't have the greatest experiences, and Roshi and Han were also, and we know Fu did not have a good experience with the waterfall. So why would you be so? Again, I get fear motivates us. I do, but at some point, you gotta shut the lizard brain down and use some common sense. Like, hey, this kid, he's got a monster inside of him. Maybe I should poke him with a sharp stick repeatedly. Huh? Hey, monster, stop being a monster. You suck, monster. Hey, oh no, the monster got angry at me just because I poked him with a sharp stick all his life. How could this have happened? It is that literal scenario. Like, look, I get it. Don't interact with them that much. That's fine. Hell, the loneliness, even just leaving them alone, that's fine. But constantly shouting hate, constantly, abusing them on some level, when you're talking about someone who's carrying a sentient nuclear monster in them, basically, you can't be that dumb. You can't. And then you get surprised when they lash out at you. It's like, oh no, like, this is your fault. This isn't their fault. This is your fault. And because this is a stigma in every village, period, and most of these jinchuriki went through this, this is my number one dumbest moment or dumbest decision in Naruto. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys for the next one down the road. Like I said, let me hit 150 views or get at least 20 likes. One or the other. Now you might say, that's nothing. Trust me, for my videos, that's a lot. At least, well, for some of my videos anyway. So 20 likes or 150 views, whatever comes first. And I'll do a part 2 to this where we're talking about shipping it. Until then, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you folks for the next one. Later.